size doesn't make it the biggest, but time has. Statuesque in silence, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway wakes from a summer slumber to welcome racing's most colorful stars back to the Brickyard. Today, the four most famous words in racing meet the four most famous letters in racing. Gentlemen, start your engines at Indy. 10 years of heartbreak, of heartthrobs. 10 years of hope. 10 years of racing heroes. The only sound louder than the roar of Indianapolis is the quiet of intimidation. This is where racers run fast and winners stand tall. When it comes to the Brickyard, it's a thrill to say you were here. But it's an honor to say you were here.
Anything we can do that Dale Earnhardt did is an accomplishment.
Here is your ticket to watch NASCAR's newest name join racing's oldest roster. Winner at Indianapolis. For one day, for 400 miles, the points and the money don't matter. Today, all any racer really wants is a kiss. Look at the top 20 in the Nextel Cup Championship standings. Jimmy Johnson on top by 232, the largest lead of the season over Jeff Gordon, who moved up to second. Earnhardt is 34 back. From fourth place Kenseth to 10th place Harvick, it's just 203 points. And look at this, it's just another 40 points to 11th place Jeremy Mayfield. He's 29 ahead of Kane. In fact, 15th place Jamie McMurray is just 194 points out of 7th.
Here's a look at the starting lineup for the 11th running of the Brickyard 400 at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Casey Mears with Ward Burton alongside on the front row. Ward with some success here at the Brickyard in the past.
Elliott Sadler, his first top 10 start here at the Brickyard. Nemechek on the outside of row 2.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. has struggled since getting burned in that accident out in Sonoma, California a few weeks ago, hoping to turn things around here today with a good finish at Indianapolis.
Ryan Newman on the inside of row 4. Jamie McMurray, who almost won this thing last year, finished third as their bestest rookie.
Lost out in the final couple of laps. And the championship leader, Jimmy Johnson, with the veteran Sterling Marlin in row 5. Johnson the winner last Sunday afternoon at Pocono Raceway in Pennsylvania.
Jeff Gordon, Casey Kane. In practice yesterday, Casey Kane, the fastest car in that 9.
Jeremy Mayfield just outside the top 10 in that race to the chase. Drivers trying to make the cut for the NASCAR championship.
Mayfield looked good yesterday, too, in practice. These guys, Kurt Busch, Mark Martin, both have very good cars here.
And Mark Martin, that smile has not left his face since Pocono.
Two-time Brickyard 400 winner Dale Jarrett and 2002 Indy winner Bill Elliott will come from row 9.
Jeff Burton on the inside of row 10. Our guest analyst last night at IRP, the small track, the NASCAR Busch Series race last night.
Terry Labonte, the two-time champion in row number 11. Kenny Wallace, driving for Michael Waltrip Racing, made the field for the Brickyard 400.
Couple of guys in the point. Go ahead.
Okay, I was just going to say, Matt Kenseth, Tony Stewart, but Matt Kenseth had another really good car yesterday in final practice. Boy, that car looked strong.
Everybody was talking about him in the garage this morning, huh?
Yep.
Jason Leffler, his first ride of the season. He's a teammate to Ward Burton here. He'll come with Kyle Petty from back in the field.
Scott Riggs, Michael Waltrip, row 14. Now we're getting to these guys that's got a long ways to go to try to win the Brickyard 400. Rusty Wallace, Brendan Gaughan, teammates.
Rusty Wallace, 9 top 10s in 10 races at Indy, but no win.
And Kevin Harvick, Ken Trader, boy, Harvick wanted a better qualifying effort, but you can't count those guys out, defending champions.
Jimmy Spencer and the rookie Scott Wimmer from row number 17. Spencer ran from deep in the field up into the top 10 last year, driving for a different team. It's been a tough weekend for Greg Biffle. He had a hard crash in practice on Friday. Very limited laps on a backup car in this race. He'll come from row 18.
Craven and Blaney back in provisional land, along with Bobby Labonte, who his engine just exploded during his qualifying run.
Final spots in the field, Todd Bodine, Scott Pruitt, and Derek Cope will start at the tail end of the line. And there are the 43 drivers who will compete for the trophy in the 11th Brickyard 400. Those who failed to qualify, 50 drivers attempting to get into the 43-car field. And Benny talked about the engine failure for Bobby Labonte. Because that's a violation of NASCAR's one engine per weekend rule, he has to drop to the end of the line for the start. That'll drop him from 39th to 43rd starting position. One lap away from the green flag. Let's get some final stories from pit road. Dave Burns.
Well, Alan, Ward Burton experienced a little inter-team competition this week when teammate Jason Leffler out-practiced him by 24 positions. Ward took the challenge. He out-qualified Jason by 23. He starts second today, by far the best starting spot in his 2004 season. Marty?
Well, Dave, when you're a race car driver, it's a good thing to be nervous the night before the race. Elliott Sadler got 4 hours of sleep last night because his car is so good. He said this is the best chance we ever have had to win the Brickyard 400. Last words of encouragement from Todd Parrott, his crew chief. Remember, it's all about having fun today. Elliott said, I plan on having plenty of that this afternoon. Matt?
Jeremy Mayfield starts 13th, chasing his first Brickyard 400 victory. He enters Indy with a lot of motivation and momentum. 6 top 10 finishes his last 9 starts, but the motivation even greater. The 19 team has never won a Nextel Cup race. Jeremy hasn't won since 2000, and he's only 40 points out of the top 10. So, Bill, a win today could be big for a number of reasons.
Absolutely, Matt. Always worth a reminder that pit road here, while it's about 5/8 of a mile long, it's only about 24 feet wide from the edge of the stall to that wall. There'll be a lot of rush hour traffic. It could be a problem. In fact, pit road here often looks like the mall parking lot the day after Christmas. Too crowded, everybody trying to exchange their stuff, and the lane you want to use to leave is always all jammed up. Alan?
And Bill, just to look at where some of the key teams are pitting. Remember that they get to select their pit stall in the order in which they qualify. So you see Casey Mears, the pole-sitting team, choosing that first stall at pit exit. Tony Stewart be mired back in the middle of pit road in some traffic when they make pit stops.
You know, we used to see all the top teams. I'm sorry, I was going to tell straight. You used to see all the top teams in those first few pits, but anymore, they scatter all down pit road.
Yeah. And like Bill said, these pits are very, very tight. Got to be careful. You do not want to do damage to your car in the pits or on these first few laps.
160 laps to make up the 400 miles in the Brickyard 400 today. $8.8 million on the line. The drivers aren't thinking about any of that. They're thinking about one thing, the checkered flag, the trophy. They're coming down for the start of the 11th Brickyard 400 at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Oh, contact going into the first corner. Ward Burton and Casey Mears bouncing off each other.
Oh, look out, guys.
And you got to be careful here. You do not want to do that in this place. The aerodynamics is so important here. You don't want to ruin those fenders. Not now.
They've already have.
Yeah.
I mean, you think the Brickyard 400 isn't a big deal. Ward Burton was not going to give up that front row spot. He wanted to lead that first lap.
Casey Mears leads. Elliott Sadler is second. Ward Burton under challenge for third. Dale Earnhardt Jr. slides through in the 8th. Marty.
Ward Burton came on the radio when that contact happened, or after it happened, and said, tell Casey I owe him one.
Okay.
He's got plenty of laps left. Got to catch him first.
Casey may think the same thing, too. Tell Ward I owe him one.
Elliott Sadler going for the lead. And Casey Mears does not want to give it up.
I talked Casey after he won the Bud Pole Award here at Indianapolis. He went into the press room and talked. They said, what are your plans for tomorrow? He said, lead. Lots.
That's the plan.
Yeah. Jeff Gordon, 24, working on his teammate Brian Vickers. That's for 7th place. Gordon is through. Jimmy Johnson in the 48 trying to follow in that inside opening.
24, 25, 48, all those cars owned by Rick Hendrick or Hendrick Motorsports.
That's a key right there with the 48 to a Jimmy Johnson. If you can turn underneath the guy, that's how you're going to pass cars in Indianapolis. Very difficult to pass on the outside, but you got to get the car underneath them. So hopefully the car you're racing is going to push like right there.
Whoa! Hang run, Jimmy.
Yep, slid up the racetrack, but McMurray couldn't capitalize. Bill Weber.
Well, that 48 car of Jimmy Johnson obviously off to a good start. Chassis number 4874, their first appearance in 04.
And Elliott Sadler going for the lead.
Second leader of the Brickyard 400. Elliott Sadler. Driving for Robert Yates Racing. He's out of Emporia, Virginia. His best finish here at Indianapolis, 21st in 1999.
Wally, as good as that 38 car looks on the racetrack now, it might be a few laps before they see him again.
Yeah, you know, these guys were really, really happy with their test. When they came here and tested, these guys have been pumped up since then about coming back here with this race car.
And so now you wonder, as you watch Elliott Sadler pull away from Casey Mears, what kind of damage was done to those front fenders on Mears' 41 car.
You know, that was the point I was trying to make at the start. Not only in pit lane, but these first few laps, you got to keep your nose clean because downforce is so important. Bill Weber.
Well, Wally, that car was bad loose on Saturday. This morning, a wedge adjustment, and they dropped the track bar. But the report from Casey right now, the car is really tight. So battling a tight condition in that 41 car. Marty?
Bill Elliott Sadler was talking about the test that they had here in the, Wally was talking about Elliott Sadler's test they had here.
Car on the wall.
Oh, trouble in the racetrack,
Jason Leffler in the 60.
And that is heavy damage to that car.
So caution is out for the first time in the Brickyard 400. Elliott Sadler leading at Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the first time in his career.
Can you celebrate too much? Not when it's this big. Happy 100th birthday to Haviland. Add more life to your car.
400? Well, let's show you. They started filling up the stands shortly after 7 o'clock this morning when they fired the traditional cannon signifying the gates are open. Casey Mears and Ward Burton let the fireworks start on the track right in the very first corner.
Yeah, they made some contact. Like we said, man, this is Indianapolis. They're going for it hard.
First caution, lap 4.
Jason Leffler, the other zero car, blows a right front, and in the wall he goes. And Tony Stewart spins coming off turn 2. Does a fantastic job, keeps the car going, and is currently up in the 6th position.
Elliott Sadler led the opening laps after taking the lead from Casey Mears at lap 3. Then Jeff Gordon went by him. Jimmy Johnson racing for 8th place with Brian Newman after the roundy round. Jeff Gordon, Elliott Sadler, Dale Jarrett, Matt Kenseth, and Robbie Gordon, the top 5. Kenseth got 4 tires on his pit stop, 4 new tires. The guys in front of him only got right side tires changed.
You know what? Kenseth's going to the front.
You think so?
Yeah.
Well, let's check it out.
Matt Kenseth, the defending NASCAR Nextel Cup Series champion, finished 2nd in the Brickyard 400 a year ago. Not working out for him right now.
Give him a lap or two. He's going to the give him a lap or two. He's got to get some pressure up. Got to get some heat in him.
Okay.
And he's,
Go ahead, Marty.
Matt's doing a great job. They have not touched a bolt on this car all afternoon. They decided to take 4. Robbie Reiser stuck with his decision, and Matt came on the radio when they came off pit road and said, for our decision, we're in a great position right now because they have 4. Everybody in front of them, like you said, Alan, only has 2.
The problem is he lost 2 spots on that restart.
Don't forget these guys on their right side. You know, they've got to get the temperature and the pressures up, and 2 is a lot easier than 4.
Tony Stewart trying to get alongside the 31 car of Robbie Gordon. He's on the inside. Oh, gets a little loose, wobbling.
Having already bumped those rumble strips and spun out once over there today.
17's going to push him by. Hey, you guys, I can't believe you didn't have any faith in me. It really hurts my feelings.
We've been around you enough to know. Question decisions on your part. Oh, Ryan Newman. Hang on to that 12 car. How about Tony Stewart, Matt?
The car very solid, only an air pressure adjustment, 4 tires on his last stop. The biggest problem that Tony had was back in traffic. The car was just a touch on the tight side, but now in front of the 17, a little bit of clean air to work to try to continue his move to the front.
Casey Kane in the 9, Rusty Wallace in the 2. That's for 8th place.
Casey a little bit loose under the 2 car of Rusty Wallace, which will happen if you go side by side down into the corners and you're on the bottom, you're going to be a little bit loose.
If Rusty had seen Casey Kane pass the 41 car earlier in the race, he would have moved over and let Casey Kane go.
That's exactly what happened.
Now Jeremy Mayfield working on Rusty Wallace in the 19, being pushed by Bill Elliott.
Teamwork.
First time we've called his name since the starting lineup. Starting to work his way toward the front. Elliott to now 9th place.
Jeff Green, 43 car underneath the 2 for the spot.
Rusty's slipping back. There's the view from no man's land here at Indianapolis. 2002 champion Bill Elliott. Dave, he took the green flag for this race in 18th spot, and he's up into the top 10.
And as I've watched him this weekend, I've looked for signs that it's the old Bill Elliott, the Bill Elliott that knew how to win, and what they did during the race today. And so far, I'm seeing one. The last stop, 2-tire change, no changes to the chassis. That's the way he used to operate on that red number 9 he used to drive. When they weren't making changes on the chassis during the day, they were good.
Watch that RPM there, BP. Boy, I saw a big number over there on the right-hand side.
I saw 200 miles per hour. What does that equate to for RPM?
Let's take a look down the straightaway.
He's already turning 91.
3, 4,
9,500. Just unheard of in stock car racing.
199 miles an hour at the end of the front stretch. Bill Elliott running in 10th spot. His teammate Casey Kane is in 8th. Of course, Elliott drove the 9 car that Kane's behind the wheel of now till the end of last season when he cut his racing schedule back. He's been playing tutor to Casey Kane this year. We asked him earlier in the weekend how he's been trying to help the young driver for Ray Evernham's team.
He's done a lot on his own, don't get me wrong. I mean, I've tried to help him a lot of the racetracks that he hadn't been to or has got a lot of question about. But, you know, he knows a lot about what he wants, and he's been able to get it real quick. And I think the other side of the coin is with him falling into where he's at from the standpoint of having Ray and Tommy and all the guys that are behind him and making that transition so much easier, that's going to be important for him to come as quick as he has up to the point that he's at today.
I would say having Bill Elliott as a tutor would be a pretty valuable resource to lean on for a rookie driver.
That 9 car is passing cars and trying to pass cars on the high side.
And I tell you what, did he get in the back of the 12? If he didn't, it was very, very close.
Jeremy Mayfield trying to pass Casey Kane.
Casey stuck his hand out the window to give him the move. He lost a lot of momentum. Well, he didn't take it, though, did he?
He stuck his hand out the window and said, no, cut me some slack, teammate. Let me go up here and pass this 12 car and go on. Because watching the scoring monitors, the last few laps, Casey Kane, Jeremy Mayfield have been a couple of fastest cars on the racetrack. And Kane, you're right, this outside line that he's using, if he can get real loose, getting in. Yes, that was the voice of Brian Newman.
7th, 8th, and 9th places they're racing for here.
That is just very different.
That is unbelievable line that Casey Kane. Look how much higher on the racetrack that he's running than Ryan Newman and passing cars.
I'm telling you, he's been doing that all day.
Wow. How impressive is that? Bill Elliott didn't teach him that, Alan.
Of course, Casey, one of those drivers trying to get into the top 10 in the NASCAR Nextel Cup standings over the next 6 races so he can be in that race for the Nextel Cup. Kane right now showing just 36 points behind Kevin Harvick. Casey running in 8th place today, Kevin Harvick in 18th.
Matt, what's Ryan saying about that 12 car? I mean, you know, he just got passed on the outside, but it seems like he can hold Mayfield off.
He told his crew chief, Matt Borland, the car is just real loose. Earlier in the race, he said he felt like he needed the help on the bottom. He just could not pass anybody on the bottom. They've been slowly working on that, Bill.
Boy, this is just turning into an outstanding run for Casey. Casey Kane, remember, had that earlier contact on the track. They came in, worked on it, changed the tires. Last stop, 4 stickers, 2 cans. And from Tommy Baldwin to his crew, good stop to get that 9 car out there. That kid's having a great season.
I guess. Casey Kane with 4 runner-up finishes in his first half season on the NASCAR Nextel Cup circuit. He didn't even get his first Busch Series win until the last race of last year. Boy, he exploded onto the scene in 2004.
I just can't believe the line that he's taken through the corners, how high he's running. And it's working so well for him.
I want you to notice on the screen, BP, who the fastest car out there is right now.
Let's see, Matt Kenseth. Well, congratulations. How many laps did it take him, Alan?
Took him a while, but hey.
Asked you our singular wireless race talk poll earlier, your favorite Brickyard 400 memory. I thought this would be the one that wins.
Yeah, I figured that too.
Dale Earnhardt's win in 1995. You know, and looking at the list of the drivers there who've won the Brickyard and the others who've scored victories here over the year, isn't it amazing how on one of the sport's biggest stages, its biggest stars come through? Look at the guys who've won here. Gordon and Jarrett and Elliott and Earnhardt.
Rise to the occasion.
Yep.
And Casey Kane has caught Robbie Gordon in the 31 car. And Robbie's entry next to the corner is messing Kane up with his line. And he's back and getting that arrow push. Cannot get by Robbie Gordon.
And Robbie is not an easy guy to pass.
Oh, watch this. Watch.
He's going to lose his spot. Yeah.
I mean, Casey got in the corner so high that time that he lost his spot to Jeremy Mayfield.
So his teammate goes by, Mayfield into the 7th spot, Kane back to 8th. They're still chasing Robbie Gordon for the 6th position. Jeff Gordon is the leader. By the way, Jimmy Johnson made an extra pit stop under that last caution. He's all the way back in 32nd place. If you were looking at those championship standings earlier and noticing the gap from Jeff Gordon, the second place driver in points, to Jimmy Johnson, that's because Gordon's leading and Jimmy Johnson is way back in 32nd. Gordon out in front as the Brickyard 400 approaches the 150-mile mark. Fans all stand as the field comes to the line for the restart. 59 laps to go in the Brickyard 400, just across the 250-mile mark. Jeff Gordon leads the field to turn 1. And Elliott Sadler have dominated this race. Right now, Matt Kenseth and Robbie Gordon are trying to chase them down. Dale Jarrett lurking back in 5th. There are 32 cars on the lead lap at this point in the race. We've had a lot of cautions to keep them that way.
Hey, what, that 31 car is no slouch. Robbie Gordon is pretty doggone good.
The car is, it looks to me as if it's loose, but he is driving it in pretty hard, even though it's loose. Normally you lose a little ground driving into the corner if your car's loose, but
Robbie Gordon running in 4th position now, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. taking 8th away from Brian Vickers down into turn 1. Let's hear for the most recent victim of a crash here today in the Brickyard 400. Marty.
Brennan Gaughan, who has walked from the infield care center to the tire cut as soon as you guys made contact. Looked like it did.
Just impatience, you know. He went up there and no need to do it. We were all stacked up. And Shane Wilson, the Jasper guys, they made a great call. You know, we've been fighting in the back, made the race car better, took a 2-tire stop, and we were going to hold our own for the Jasper guys. And tough way to get on NBC finally. But, you know, good to see you, Marty.
All right, it's nice seeing you too, Brendan. Wally, he talked about that sound, the sound you hate when you hear the tire cut and then blow and then go into the wall. He said that's just the worst sound he's ever heard in his entire life.
yeah, sometimes it's silence right before you hit the wall, but yeah, it's ugly.
Greg Biffle on the move in the 16 car, taking 9th spot away from Brian Vickers. Started this race back in 35th position. This is a backup car. He had a crash in practice on Friday just before the end of practice. Qualified the car with no time on it in practice. Then only ran one of the two final practices yesterday as he had a helicopter over to Indianapolis Raceway Park to run the NASCAR Busch Series race last night.
These Evernham guys have been around each other all day.
They have, and that time Casey Kane backed off. He was not as aggressive trying to get by the 25 car as he has been, probably because of the contact he just made with the 77 car.
How about the red cars, Bill?
How about those Evernham Motorsports cars, AB? Casey Kane in the 9, Jeremy Mayfield in the 19. As for the 9, had that contact on the track. Spotter looked at it, said the car was okay. Tommy Baldwin said your running times are right there with the leader. That was before the caution came out. But then under caution, Baldwin told Kane, you got a good little hot rod. We will be in the top 5 at the end of the day. Stay with it, he told his driver. As for Mayfield, still having a good run. Matt?
Ryan Newman restarted 15th, has climbed up to 13th. 2 stops ago, contact on pit road caused damage to the hood. His car has been junk ever since. Extremely loose. Right side tires to battle for second place. Right side tires on his last stop, and a number of adjustments to try to tighten that race car up.
Here comes Matt Kenseth, driver that nearly won the Brickyard 400. 12 months ago, was just taking second place away from Elliott Sadler. Sadler and Jeff Gordon have dominated this race, but now the 38 car sliding back a little bit.
Telling you, these guys got to worry about that 17 car. There he goes again, sliding up the racetrack.
All of a sudden, the 38 car just does not look nearly as good as it has all day long.
Robbie Gordon by. Here comes Dale Jarrett by Elliott Sadler.
He thinks he's got a tire going down. It's okay there.
I don't think Elliott Sadler's been any farther back than second for just about the entire day. What about that 38 car, Marty?
Well, Elliott has not said a word on the radio since this run started, Alan, but remember, they're on 2 tires, and he said it's looser on 2 tires. He did not like the setup on 2 tires. He wanted 4 for the end of the race, and I think it takes also a while for that 38 car to come in the way Elliott liked it to.
So Elliott back to 5th place now. I'll have to check, but I don't think he's run that far back in this race the entire day, except when people shuffled around a little bit on pit stops.
I agree with you. He's been in the top 2. He started 3rd and was 2nd, I think, on the first lap.
Now Mark Martin coming up behind Sadler, trying to put some pressure on. His teammate Dale Jarrett there in the 88 car looking awfully good in these late laps now.
Here it is, putting some pressure on a 31 car, Robbie Gordon. Dave, what are they saying about Robbie's car?
What did you say earlier that you thought there, Wally?
I thought he was loose.
He was on the before the last stop. They put on 2 right side tires and made no adjustments, hoping that would help him, but he's still a bit loose.
Well, a little bit loose is okay here. A little bit loose is better than, I think, tight. But just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Robbie Gordon having run the Indianapolis 500-mile race 9 times, the Brickyard 400, this now his 5th. Dale Jarrett has won this race 2 times. He comes into this weekend's event, one of those drivers close in that race to the chase, 14th in points, and only 103 out of 10th place. He said, though, at Indianapolis, points don't count. It's all about winning.
It doesn't matter. You're at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It's about winning here, about visiting that victory lane that only a very select few people have ever done. The 2 times that I've been there are some of the most special days that I've ever had, and done as much for my career as anything that has ever taken place.
1996 and 1999, the 2 times Dale Jarrett has won this race. Dave, he's in pretty good shape right now.
And his car is a little bit loose at the start of the runs, but then it starts to come around. In fact, that backs up exactly what DJ told me before the start today. He said, I need a long run, 12, 15, maybe 20 laps before I can be the best compared to everybody else.
I think there's a few cars like that, Dave. I think the 17, talked to the crew chief there. As Robbie said, hey, need some laps, need some green laps.
Elliott Sadler talked about having a very strong engine in his car. Dale Jarrett, his teammate, same thing. 200 miles an hour into turn 1.
And all these Fords now run the same engine. Doug Yates builds engines for all the Roush cars, all the Yates cars. 17 car, Matt Kenseth. You know, I talked a couple of weeks ago about how they did not test here. They did not come. They saved that test date because they wanted it for the final 10 races of the year. They went to Milwaukee, tested. Guess what? That's not the car they tested. This is a brand new car that hasn't been on a racetrack. They brought it to Indy cold turkey because they felt like it would be better, and looks like it is. Marty?
Yeah, BP, this new car has a different aerodynamic package than they've run all year long, so I think they may bring this one back for the last 10 races of the season. Looks like Matt Kenseth will be in the chase for the championship. When they went back to green, he said it feels like the race just started because there's been so many caution laps today. The car getting better for Matt. He's been loose most of the day. His car is now just a little bit tight. Very happy, very fast, trying to track down the 24.
Talking championships, so let's check the championship standings as they run. Remember, Jimmy Johnson is out of this race with an engine failure, probably going to finish 36th. Jeff Gordon is leading, and what was a 232-point gap between the two starting the day looks like 100 right now with 50 laps to go.
We're not interested in that, are we, Wally?
No.
We want to go back here.
This is where it gets interesting.
That's right. Kevin Harvick, 10th spot, 578 points back. But
wow,
Jeremy Mayfield only 3 points out.
Oh, look at all the way to 14th.
40
Jared,
points. Only 40 points out.
As they run.
As they run.
Greg Biffle having a pretty solid day up there, trying to hang on to the 9th spot. Matt?
Last Sunday at Pocono scored his season's first top 5 finish, hoping to carry that momentum here to the Brickyard, but on Friday, he crashed his primary car. They had to go to a backup. Started 35th, slowly working his way through the field. The car's been tight most of the day. Small adjustments here and there to try to free it up. Now Greg says the car is good. They took a spring rubber out in the last stop to try to help that. Small adjustments. He's riding it out right now, just trying to save fuel for that final stop.
In his mirror, a couple of fast dodges.
Yes, that Casey Kane, I tell you, if he gets that high line working again.
Ooh, a little wiggle there for Junior coming off turn 4.
Dave Blaney making an unscheduled stop on pit road.
It's 48 laps to go, so he won't make it from here to the finish on fuel, so that's really going to hurt Blaney. He's back to 31st place. It has lost a lap to the race leaders. Dale Jr. running 8th, trying to hang on to that spot. Dave?
Alan, as he fights him off, I wanted to review with the crew this week why it was exactly the Junior had to get out of the car last week, and they told me it didn't really have to do with his burns as much as it had to do with getting ready for a relief driver. Now, as Biffle dives to the inside and will get that spot, and it looks like along with the dodge of Casey Kane, or is that's
Yeah,
Kane?
Kane. Yep.
They said that it had to do with the belts, as they had to get ready to get in the car passively. They adjusted the belts to where part of it was digging into Junior's leg. That caused the left leg to numb. That caused him to have to get out of the car earlier than he wanted to last week. With no driver standing by, Junior was able to adjust the cockpit to his liking from the start today and expects to stay until the end of the race.
Right now, the 8 car, he's struggling just a little bit with the setup, with the chassis. He's not quite as fast through the corners as these other cars. Jeremy Mayfield goes by, puts Junior back to the 11th position.
Up front, Jeff Gordon matching Matt Kenseth's lap times, so his advantage stays at 2.2 seconds. We check our Harley-Davidson lap leaders and see that Jeff Gordon has dominated on the day as far as time out in front. He and Elliott Sadler have been the 2 guys today.
Well, Elliott Sadler's picked up over $12,000 in lap money. Jeff Gordon around $30,000.
That's not what they're really interested in, though, today, is it?
They're thinking about kissing those bricks.
That's right. Jeff Gordon would do it for a 4th time if he's able to hang on here today. You see the interval between himself and second place Matt Kenseth actually growing a little bit over these last few laps. He's not going to want to see this, though.
Most races, most laps, has failed to win 6 of the 10 Brickyard 400s.
46 laps to go here in Indianapolis. When we come back through the field, Jeff Gordon leading the 11th running of the Brickyard 400. His crew chief, Robbie Loomis, plotting the strategy.
A look at turn 3 at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, where the roar of NASCAR rattles through Speedway, Indiana on a sunsplash Sunday afternoon. And Indiana's own Jeff Gordon continues to run out front, although his car now just a little bit tight, but I don't think that's bothering him. He's having a good run at a track where he really wants to perform well. Let's take you through the field. Everybody wants to finish first. Why? Just ask Jeff Gordon what it means to win this race.
You know, you just look at the list of names that have won at this racetrack, and when you put your name along with those names, it's a very, very big deal, very, very special accomplishment.
It's a home game for Gordon. He's out front. Let's take you through the field, as we said, and find out who's trying to chase him down here in the Brickyard 400. Marty.
Phil Matt Kenseth is the guy trying to chase down Jeff Gordon. It's been since the 3rd race of the season since the 17 team went to victory lane. He came on the radio about 10 laps ago, said, that's all I have for this run. I need to be out front to get past Gordon. Dave?
Robbie Gordon had a weird thing happen. The shifter knob fell off. He was still able to shift through the gears on the restarts and on and off pit road, though, and he's not shifting during the race, so it's not a big deal. The 88 of Dale Jarrett just came on the radio a minute ago and told his crew, I'm getting a little bit tight. That was on lap 119, that report came. Marty, back to you.
Elliott Sadler's fallen back to 5th. He was loose on the 2 tires. Todd Parrott said, turn off your front brake bands. That worked. It made the car just a little bit tighter. Elliott a little bit happier now, about 10 laps away from the stop. Mark Martin has rebounded from what started off to be an awful day. Brushed the wall on lap 2, had a flat left front on lap 38. The chassis is great. Now they have a little better track position. Matt?
Tony Stewart runs in 7th, back on lap 105, telling his team the car is much better on the get-go. 6 laps later, he said the car has gone to the tight side. These guys are starting to slowly pull away from me. Meanwhile, Greg Biffle, he had worked a long time on Dale Earnhardt Jr., told his team he used up the right front. Now the car extremely tight in traffic. Bill?
Rookie Casey Kane had 3 disappointing finishes of 31st, 25th, and 36th. Then got an 8th in Chicago. 3rd last week at Pocono. 5 second-place finishes trying to win the Brickyard 400. His car's good, just a little bit tight. You can say the same thing about Jeremy Mayfield. He's a 3-time winner, though, in the Nextel Cup Series. Looking for his 4th. His car also just a tick tight. So the Dodges are tight. Upstairs.
Those are the top 10 of 29 cars that are on the lead lap late in the Brickyard 400. As we just crossed the 120 lap mark, 300 miles into the race. We continue to go through the field with 11th place Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Dave.
Alan, the only mention the Junior's made of his injuries all day, he radioed to his crew and said, oh, by the way, I'm feeling all right. As for his car, right now, tight in the middle of the corners. Matt?
Ryan Newman's climbed to 12th in the 12 car, and that's where he's holding station. The car still extremely loose on entry as he just got passed by the 41 of Casey Mears. Buddy Baker is his 2nd spotter in turn 3, helping him change his line to improve the car, Bill.
Casey Mears had the 12 in his windshield, now has it in his mirror. Still tight from the center off. They made a track bar and an air pressure adjustment last stop. Burns?
Bill Elliott's Dodge was a little bit tight on that last run, so on the last stop they made a wedge adjustment on that chassis to try to fix it. The report from Bill, a little bit better. The 2-car Rusty Wallace, well, how about that? Hit it 3 times to fix damage and fix the toe on his car to make it run straight. He was saying that it still turned a little bit to the right, but you know that he ran his fastest laps of the race after they made the fixes on that car. Marty?
Kurt Busch trying to track down Rusty Wallace. It's been an eventful day for Kurt Busch. Lost the brakes in his left rear, finally got them back. They got the damage fixed, went to the back of the field, went to the front of the field. Now he's in 16th position, little tight end, loose end, tied off. Jamie McMurray, same condition. They bounced everywhere today. They've had a tight race car, a loose race car, complained about the motor. Now they've finally gotten to where it's just a little loose in and a little tight off. David.
The 99 of Jeff Burton needs to turn better in the corner, but he says, and I quote, the rear end is way out of the track. How do you fix that? Sounds like it's loose in, tight off, hard to drive. Marty, back to you.
Brian Vickers out on the racetrack, Dave, and they've had a tight car most of the afternoon long, and I believe that's actually Matt's car.
Robbie Gordon troubles on the racetrack left front. Caution is out. Here we go, Matt.
Tony Stewart hits pit road in the 6th position, says the car's still temperamental. They can't get it in the middle. That's where they're trying to get it. It's either tight or loose. Jeff Gooch Patterson has the wedge wrench in his hands, making a chassis adjustment and air pressure adjustment on the 20 car, Dave.
Two-time Brickyard winner Dale Jarrett needs a chassis adjustment so the car will turn better. A 4-tire stop as well. Car looks a little hot, but he's okay. Marty.
Dave, second place man Matt Kenseth is a little bit loose. He said, let's not over adjust here. Let's make a small adjustment. Half pound to the right rear. Bill.
Gordon is tight. They freed him up. 4 tires and fuel. He's on his way.
And it looks like he's going to hold serve on the stop. It's Gordon and Mark Martin going to beat. Looks like he does beat the 38 car of Elliott Sadler.
So after Schrader stops before the restart, Gordon will take over the lead. We're set to go. The pit crew did their job on the stop. So let's tell you how we got to this point. Right from the start, the fenders were bent, the sparks were flying. Casey Mears and Ward Burton, the front row starters, clanging and banging into turn 1.
Tell you what, these guys wanted to win and wanted to win badly. Tony Stewart had a loose race car. Normally they just ride around, but it's a Brickyard. He can't ride around. He's trying so hard he spins out.
Lap number 60.
Yep, get some tire problems today. Casey Kane, one of them, goes up and bangs on the wall a little bit. Sterling Marlin, another guy.
Left front tire. Did not come down the pit road, try to make another lap, and this is what happens when you try to make another lap.
On the restart, big wreck on this tight front straightaway here at Indianapolis. Ended up claiming 8 cars, triggered around Rusty Wallace. You see Terry Labonte and Scott Riggs getting a major piece of it in the 5 and 10 cars. By the time it was all done, a total of 8 involved. Championship leader Jimmie Johnson with a short day lost the engine in his car, put him into the garage. He's going to finish 36th on the day. Now to lap 96, Casey Kane, and this time Brendan Gaughan.
Main contact, shredded the left rear tire of Brendan Gaughan, and he was gone.
And then scooped by a couple of guys to keep from piling into him.
And evidently, Robbie didn't see the video on Sterling Marlin because he tried to make an extra lap. The left front tire catches fire on his car.
Green flag with 8 laps to go.
I see a little mirror driving here too, I bet. A little blocking.
Gordon pulls Jarrett by a car length. Harvick tried to get a couple quick spots in the 29.
Jeff Gordon holds serve on the start. 10 car lengths off turn 2.
Jarrett tried to defend his teammate Elliott Sadler, looking for second.
There again, that's what Gordon wants. He wants those guys behind him racing.
I think if Elliott Sadler gets alongside the 88, he will let him go. I don't think that he'll race him that hard if he can pull up alongside and let the 38 see if he can catch the 24. But he's got to catch it, 88 first.
Jeff Gordon pulling away. The question is, when he punched that hole in that front air dam, did he damage a tire any? I'm sure something he's worried about. Victory at Indianapolis is so close.
He's worried about everything right now. Jeff Gordon.
I think so. He's been so dominant today. I tell you, his track record, what he's established, when you come down to a race and Jeff Gordon's got a sniff of a checkered flag and a trophy, there's just about nobody better at getting the most possible out of a car to try and get that win. For now, Elliott Sadler not able to do anything with Dale Jarrett for second. Jarrett not able to do anything with Jeff Gordon for the win.
You know what? Jarrett is using all the racetrack. He came off turn 4 and almost. Did something happen to Jarrett?
Just scraped the wall.
You just said he was using all the racetrack. He used a little more.
He is trying so hard to find every ounce of speed that he can in this 88 car.
A 3-time Brickyard 400 winner leading a 2-time Brickyard 400 winner.
And right now, he's a little bit faster than Jeff Gordon.
Trouble turn 2. Caution flags out. Ryan Newman punched the wall. Who's in the black car? Is that
guy 8th in points?
Okay, the field is frozen.
There's Newman. Wow, what a hard crash he's had.
The left side has hit the wall awfully hard on the 12 car, but here is Ryan Newman jumping out of the car.
And the other one is Brian Vickers. He's mad.
Oh, he's hot. At least he's okay. He's hot, but he's okay.
There's Brian Vickers.
He's made some pretty hard contact with the outside retaining wall. Now then, we just might see our first green-white checker.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I think we will.
Caution is out with 5 laps to go. If you're new to NASCAR or you don't follow it weekly, NASCAR instituting a procedure to try and give the fans green flag finishes instead of, for example, under the old way, perhaps them following around behind the pace car for these final 5 laps because they couldn't clean the wreck up. NASCAR will go past the advertised distance and finish with 1 green-white checkered finish. They'll take a restart, then a white flag lap, then a checkered flag lap. It'll go beyond the 400-mile distance here today if necessary. They'll only try it once.
And additional laps will be counted and scored. That could be important in case someone was to run out of fuel and lose a lap. They, in fact, lose a lap. They would finish the last car on the lead lap. Right now would be about 25th, 30th position. There's Junior driving to the inside of the 9 of Casey Kane. He got a great restart to Junior, but now, did Jerry get that start? Looks like Jeff Gordon, once again, got a terrific restart.
Casey Mears on pit road, flat left front tire at this restart. Whoa, blocking going on there.
Big time blocking.
Dale Jr. and Tony Stewart. That's for 6th place. Not often you see somebody all the way down at the white line on the backstretch here at Indy.
White flag this time. Just one more lap for Dale Jarrett to catch him.
24 just pulls out.
Dominant car all day. Now 1 lap away from a Brickyard 400 win. Jeff Gordon takes the white flag.
Now Elliott is going to do everything he can to make a move on the 88.
Who's off the pace? That's Ricky Rudd. Ricky Rudd with a right front problem. So far, green flag remains out. And they'll race the final half lap back to the checkered flag.
Look at all the blocking going on back there. Who's that blown up?
Somebody's blown up in the back. I believe it was.
It is Mark Martin.
Not again.
Elliott Sadler trying his teammate for 2nd. That's all it's going to be, is for 2nd spot. Caution flag is out. The race is over. Jeff Gordon wins the Brickyard 400 for a 4th time. A dominating performance today by Gordon.
That's right. Acknowledge those fans, Jeff. How good is that?
Gordon has won the Brickyard 400 for a 4th time. He'll head toward victory lane shortly. We'll talk with him there in a moment. Jeff Gordon with his 5th victory in 2004. Hey, let's not wait for victory lane. You in the middle of that, Bill?
I made my way in here. A lot of handshakes, high fives, congratulations. Jeff Gordon has climbed out of the car, still parked on the yard of bricks. It took 66 years to get the first 4-time winner of the Indy 500. You won this one 4 times in 11 years. Happy birthday.
Thank you very much. What an amazing week it's been, and just an awesome year for Hinder Motorsports, this entire team. That yard of bricks right there is so special, and it just feels so incredible. And this guy right here.
Car owner Rick Hendrick is here. You know this means a lot to these 2 guys.
I tell you what, today's for 5. This guy right here, Robbie Loomis, doing an amazing job, man.
I thought you guys weren't even talking to each other yesterday in that first practice session.
We were talking, but you didn't want to know what we were saying. But what a just great effort, man. I'm so excited.
This way.
Woo! Yes!
Gordon with his 4th win here at Indianapolis in his 5th race in 2004. Tony Stewart winding up in the top 5 today. Good job by Greg Biffle in a backup car to get all the way up to 6th.
And we see Bobby Labonte back in 15th. A great rebound for him.
Matt Kenseth wound up 18th. Remember running 2nd when he ran over the piece of debris late in the race and thought he cut down a tire.
Can't wait to see the points.
I know.
Seeing all these guys, it's going to shake things up.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. 27th, Mark Martin 25th. Both ended up with flat tires on that last 2 laps and ground around to cross the checkered flag. And some of the drivers who dropped out and had troubles, Jimmy Johnson, the championship leader, 36th on the day after an engine failure.
How about Ryan Newman, 8th in points. Can't afford that.
And Jason Leffler, first out of the race, finishes 43rd. Here they are. All right, look at that. 97, it was 232 first to second. Ryan Newman falls to 10th place. And now the big numbers with 5 races to go in the race to the chase.
I bet it's close.
How many points is he at? 31 back. Casey Kane, Jeremy just 32, and Dale Jarrett now just 55 back.
And even though Mark Martin had troubles at the finish, still only 123 points from 10th place. Dominance today at Indianapolis for Jeff Gordon. He wins the 2004 Brickyard 400.
NASCAR would like to thank all of our loyal fans for your continued support, and we hope you enjoy.